Imagine trying to drive a car through a busy city intersection. You have to watch the traffic lights, monitor the pedestrians, listen for sirens, and remember your destination, all at the same time. Now, imagine if the traffic lights randomly changed colors, the road signs were written in a language you didn't speak, and every horn honk felt as loud as a jet engine. For many individuals on the autism spectrum, this chaotic scenario isn't just a driving metaphor, it's a close approximation of what navigating daily social life feels like. But what if the solution to managing this sensory and cognitive overload wasn't found in a pill or a traditional therapy office, but inside a video game? And not just any video game, but one populated by virtual humans designed to teach the brain how to switch gears? Today, we are looking at a fascinating new study that asks a simple but profound question. Can we train the autistic brain to handle social information better by using computer avatars? It is a trial that sits right at the intersection of neuroscience, gaming technology, and psychology. If you care about autism, education, or just how the human brain learns, you are going to want to hear this. To understand why this specific trial is so important, we first have to talk about the engine of the human mind, executive function. You will hear researchers talk about EF a lot. Think of executive function as the air traffic controller of your brain. It is the set of mental skills that helps you get things done. It helps you remember instructions, focus your attention, juggle multiple tasks, and, crucially, control your impulses. For most neurotypical people, these skills run in the background. You don't think about shifting your attention when you stop looking at your phone to answer a question, you just do it. But for many autistic individuals, this air traffic controller is under immense strain. The ability to shift attention, what scientists call cognitive flexibility, can be rigid. Getting stuck on a specific topic, struggling to transition from one activity to another, or finding it hard to filter out distractions are all hallmarks of EF challenges. Now, here is where it gets tricky. For years, scientists have tried to train these skills using computer programs. You might have seen them. Games where you have to match shapes, remember sequences of numbers, or click a button when a blue square appears. And the data shows that yes, people get better at these games. If you practice clicking blue squares, you become a world champion at clicking blue squares. But, and this is a massive but, does being good at clicking blue squares help you have a conversation with your boss? Does it help you read the sarcasm in a friend's voice? Often, the answer is no. This is called the generalization problem. Skills learned in a sterile, abstract computer game rarely transfer to the messy, emotional, unpredictable real world. And that is exactly the problem this new trial is trying to solve. Researchers at the Education University of Hong Kong are testing a new intervention called Hybrid Computerized EF Training. But don't let the dry name fool you. This isn't just another shape-matching game. The core innovation here is the use of virtual human stimuli. The hypothesis is brilliant in its simplicity. If the goal is to improve social functioning, why are we training brains with triangles and circles? Why not train them with faces? The researchers believe that by integrating human-like avatars, virtual humans, into cognitive training, they can bridge that gap between the computer screen and the real world. They are targeting two specific types of executive function. First, there is cool EF. This involves pure logic, working memory, and inhibition, the ability to stop yourself from doing something. Second, and perhaps more interestingly, they are targeting hot EF. This involves emotion. It's the ability to make decisions when feelings are involved, like reading a facial expression or deciding if someone is happy or scared. Most traditional training only focuses on the cool side. This study is trying to heat things up. They want to see if practicing with these virtual humans can improve a participant's ability to shift their attention and control their impulses, not just in the game, but in social situations. It is a move from abstract cognitive training to what we might call ecologically valid training that looks and feels a bit more like real life. But here's the part most people don't realize about this kind of research. It's not just about making the graphics look better. It's about how the brain processes social information versus non-social information. Some theories suggest that the autistic brain processes objects perfectly well, but processes faces differently. By combining a strict cognitive task, like a reaction time game, with a social stimulus, a face, the researchers are essentially trying to cross-train the brain. They are asking the brain to perform high-level air traffic control duties while simultaneously processing emotional data. It is like trying to solve a math problem while someone is making faces at you. It forces your brain to integrate two very different types of information. So, how exactly are they doing this? Let's walk through the study design, because the devil is always in the details. This is a clinical trial involving autistic children and adolescents. The participants are being asked to engage in a specific training regimen involving serious games. And when I say serious games, I don't mean they are boring. I mean they are games designed with a primary purpose other than entertainment, in this case, neuroplasticity. The regimen is intense but short. Participants undergo 5 sessions a week for 2 weeks. Each session lasts about 30 minutes. This high-frequency, short-duration approach is typical in cognitive training because you want to induce what is called repetition-dependent plasticity. You need to fire those neural circuits over and over again to strengthen them. Let's visualize the games themselves, because the descriptions in the trial protocol are fascinating. One of the key tasks is the face judgment game. Imagine sitting at a computer. On the screen, you see a prompt, a cue. The cue might say sex, referring to gender, or it might say emotion. This cue hangs on the screen for a moment. Then a virtual human face appears. If the cue was sex, you have to instantly decide, is this a male or female face? If the cue was emotion, you have to decide, is this face happy or scared? It sounds easy, right? But here's the catch. The game forces you to shift. One trial might ask for gender, and the very next trial might ask for emotion. You have to constantly switch the rulebook in your head. Okay, now I'm looking at gender. Wait, now I need to look at the emotion. This rapid switching taxes the brain's cognitive flexibility. And to make it even harder, the researchers manipulate the timing. In the beginning, you might have a long time to look at the cue, maybe 2 seconds, 2,000 milliseconds. But as you get better, that time shrinks. It goes down to 1,000 milliseconds, then maybe 200 milliseconds. The game adapts to your performance, pushing your brain to process information faster and faster. This adaptive difficulty is crucial. If it's too easy, the brain doesn't learn. If it's too hard, the user gives up. The sweet spot is where learning happens. Another game they are using is the gaze arrow game. This is designed to train inhibition, the ability to ignore distractions. In this task, you might see a face looking in a certain direction, but there are arrows pointing in a different direction. You have to follow the rule, maybe follow the gaze or follow the arrow, while ignoring the conflicting information. This mimics a very real social problem, trying to pay attention to what someone is saying, the relevant cue, while ignoring their distracting hand gestures or the background noise, the irrelevant cue. This is where things take an interesting turn. The researchers aren't just measuring if the kids get better at the game. That would be the near transfer effect. They are looking for far transfer. They will likely be measuring outcomes using standardized scales of executive function and social responsibility. They want to know, after 2 weeks of judging virtual faces, does the child actually behave differently? Do they handle transitions better at home? Are they less frustrated when plans change? If this trial is successful, the implications are significant. First, consider accessibility. Traditional social skills therapy often requires a trained therapist, a clinic, and a lot of money. It is resource-intensive. A computerized intervention, however, can be deployed anywhere. It could be on a tablet in a rural home or on a school computer. If hybrid computerized EF training proves effective, it offers a scalable, low-cost tool that can be added to the toolkit of parents and educators worldwide. Second, it challenges our understanding of screen time for autistic kids. Parents are often told to limit screen time, and for good reason, but this research suggests that what is on the screen matters immensely. If the screen is delivering a scientifically calibrated, adaptive neurological workout involving social stimuli, it's not just screen time, it's therapy. But let's also talk about the value of a neutral or negative result. What if the kids get great at the game, but their social skills don't change? That is also a vital finding. It would tell us that simply adding virtual humans isn't enough to solve the generalization problem. It would force scientists to look deeper. Perhaps we need more immersive virtual reality, or perhaps the training needs to be combined with real-world practice groups. In science, Finding out what doesn't work is just as important as finding out what does, because it saves future resources and redirects the path of inquiry. Think of it this way. We are currently in the Model T era of digital medicine. We are just figuring out how to build the car. Trials like this one are testing different engines, abstract shapes versus virtual faces, to see which one actually gets us to the destination. Now, whenever we talk about clinical trials, especially involving children and the brain, we must discuss safety and ethics. This trial is classified as a behavioral intervention, which generally carries lower physical risks than drug trials. There are no pills, no injections, and no surgery. However, low risk does not mean no risk. Researchers have to monitor for frustration and fatigue. High-intensity cognitive training can be tiring. Asking a child who already struggles with executive function to do rapid-fire shifting tasks for 30 minutes is hard work. It can lead to meltdowns or anxiety if not managed correctly. That is likely why the sessions are capped at 30 minutes and why the difficulty is adaptive to keep the challenge manageable. There's also the ethical consideration of the virtual humans themselves. The avatars need to be realistic enough to be recognized as social beings, but not so strange that they fall into the uncanny valley, that creepy feeling you get when a robot looks almost human but not quite. For autistic individuals who may already have sensory sensitivities, poorly designed visual stimuli could be distressing. Informed consent is also paramount here. Since the participants are minors, parents or guardians provide the legal consent, but the children themselves typically provide assent, meaning they agree to participate and can stop if they want to. The researchers at the Education University of Hong Kong are bound by strict ethical guidelines to ensure the well-being of every participant. So, where does this leave us? We are looking at a trial that attempts to hack the learning process. By merging the precision of computer science with the nuance of social psychology, this trial is trying to build a bridge.
A bridge that helps the autistic brain practice the complex dance of social interaction in a safe, controlled, virtual environment before stepping out onto the dance floor of the real world. It is early days. The trial is active. We don't have the final results yet. But the very fact that this question is being asked and tested with such rigorous methodology is a reason for optimism. It reminds us that technology, often blamed for isolating us, might also hold the key to bringing us closer together. As always, science is a slow, careful process. We will have to wait and see if the virtual humans deliver on their promise. But until then, it serves as a fascinating reminder of the plasticity of the human brain and our endless quest to understand it. Thank you for listening to this explanation of this trial. If you found this breakdown helpful, consider exploring more about how clinical trials are designed. It's the best way to separate hope from hype in the world of medical science. Stay curious, stay skeptical, and keep learning.